So with the news that Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua will be having a bout in March, a big question that I have and maybe many of you have is, does Francis Ngannou ever actually have a MMA bout again? Does this whole deal that PFL made with Francis Ngannou, does it end up just being a huge W for Francis and a big nothing burger for the PFL? What I could see happening is if Francis has this bout, he ends up winning this bout. I think that leaves a clear picture of him fighting the winner of Tyson Fury and Usyk. And if that's kind of how some of these events end up transpiring, that leaves Francis getting this payday from this fight, putting on this event, then getting launched into another championship fight, doing that event. Who's to say he's not able to win that one and possibly another boxing fight? And even if he were to even lose to Anthony Joshua, I think he could still get another big name boxer to have another bout and make a big paycheck. He's definitely making the biggest paychecks that he's ever made. And I'm super happy for Francis. I've been super happy how all of this has transpired for him. I think if anybody, whenever you talk about a MMA fighter's story, their background, where they came from, what they had to go through, the dreams and aspirations that they had, and now you look at where he's at, like he's made all his dreams and aspirations become a reality. Like he's there, he's boxing, he's making big money fights. He's fighting against top of the heap talent in the heavyweight division. He has a real big shot here, get this win and fight for the World Heavyweight Championship of the world. And you ask me with these fights, like I see him as having a chance in getting the win with this Anthony Joshua fight. I honestly see this being, I know some people are saying that this is going to be a different fight for Francis because Joshua's going to know what to expect now with him maybe not being a pushover, maybe Fury overlooked Francis, and that's why he looks so good. I know through watching some of these boxing fights in the heavyweight division, I know that with Joshua, for instance, he can get taken into deep water and he can get broken. And I think Francis is somebody that could do that to him. I think Francis looked really good in his last fight. I think he can apply some hurt to Joshua and he can make him really think about the decision that he made to agree to be in the ring with him. I think whoever wins between Fury and Usyk, I think Francis could be a huge problem for either one of those guys as well too if that's the next fight that gets lined up. I just see that Francis doesn't need to deal with any of the MMA side in regards to cons to it. He doesn't have to go through these crazy camps where you're having to introduce all these different mixed martial arts in it. You're having to have just basically what seems to be way more strenuous camps on the body and on the mental side. You don't have to take as much damage with the smaller gloves, with the cuts, and having to deal with possibly getting head kicked, getting elbowed, things of that nature. The money's better in the boxing. I just don't see any reason for Francis to have an MMA fight at this point. He's getting older in age. I know with the heavyweight division, these guys can last a little bit longer, but if Francis has another two of these kinds of fights, another two, three kinds of these fights, I think at that point, like he's probably made enough money where he's chilling. He can maybe go do some movies or something else and like he's good. So I think that's the big question. Also, is this kind of something that like, I know Dana has been kind of being a bit of a hater in the background with some of this stuff. Or maybe saying he's being a hater is being uh, a little bit aggressive, but he definitely hasn't seemed to be too pleased with what's been going on. He's kind of undermined it. He hasn't really given Francis his flowers for being able to do all this, and I think they're deserved. But I will say, if this is what ends up transpiring, if Francis doesn't ever have an MMA bout, PFL basically doesn't get any kind of return for the investment that they made. Was Dana kind of right in like the way things transpired and not wanting him to give a deal where he has all these boxing matches and then basically doesn't give anything back to the company? He's he's not going to be making any money off of this. You know what I mean? It's probably majority going to the organization within boxing, and then also too, like a lot of this is coming from, I'm pretty sure, the Saudis, where these boxing matches are taking place. So maybe that was just Dana doing pretty good business, and it really wasn't too personal. It just ended up becoming personal with how ugly uh the business dealings ended up going afterwards. But I don't know, maybe he was onto something. We'll see what ends up happening. I think once this boxing match happens with Anthony Joshua, I think we'll have a better picture. If he wins the fight, like I said, then he's going to get another title shot. That to me, it seems like the reasonable thing to happen. And I mean, from there, he could even lose, and I think still has good opportunities to fight top boxers that get good money. And I just don't see the need to have another MMA fight in his career. What do you guys think? You guys think that I'm onto something with this? Do you think that is a huge possibility of something that can happen? PFL make a mistake? I mean, they definitely got a little bit of exposure from it, so I guess that's good. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Catch you on the next one. Peace.